This stark white hallway that looks like a scene in a sci-fi movie doesn't lead to where you might think. It's actually the entryway to a place that's at the heart of creating some of the most emotion-stirring, drool-inducing, legend-making cars on planet Earth. I'm Adam Baidawi, and this is All Access McLaren. McLaren, one of the monoliths of the automotive world. They're known for their fearsome racing heritage and luxurious and radical road cars. And today, GQ Sports is here at their far-out, very futuristic HQ, the McLaren Technology Centre. Built in 1998 in the beautiful town of Woking, this Death Star-like brushed aluminium beauty is the home of McLaren's race team and consumer automotive division. The building is estimated to have cost £300 million to construct, and it's here that McLaren brings together science and art to produce, by hand, some of the craziest hypercars and race cars you will ever see. And to get a deeper look into the heart of the HQ, we have a special guest tour guide to show us around. Here comes my tour guide. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How you doing? Welcome to my beautiful workplace. So we're going to start with a little tour today. We'll start here on the boulevard, the famous boulevard, starting with Bruce McLaren, the founder of McLaren. First car he ever raced with at 15 years old, raced under his dad's name, and he won.
He snuck into a race under his dad's name
and won.
Snuck in
under his dad's name.
He did all right for himself.
Some of these cars I've actually been lucky enough to drive. Denny Holmes' car.
Unbelievable.
One of the most beautiful cars I think ever made in Formula One. Daniel's car from Monza.
The winning one too.
This is the winning one. This one I've driven.
This is the year the team won Drivers' Championship, Constructors' Championship.
Not a bad year for them. Comparing to now, the rear tyres are a lot bigger.
Yeah, astonishing, right?
No power steering, and then it's a manual stick shift as well.
No paddles. But the lack of power steering means you would have been like gripping for a while.
You would have been gripping, you would have seen the drivers coming in with blisters and blood. And this may be one of the most historic, these three. A McLaren F1, sit in the middle, so you can have two passengers, one to your left, one to your right.
Oh man, that's a wild configuration. What's this setting you back these days?
I think a small 25 million.
The McLaren F1 actually sold in 2021 for $20.5 million, but with inflation, 25 million sounds about right.
This is my favourite car here, F1 GTR. Looks incredible on circuit and probably one of the best sounding cars in here. This is where a lot of things started. If you speak to a lot of people talking about McLaren, this is a livery that they'll remember. This one I think I got to drive. I got to drive Senna's in Goodwood.
We'd be remiss if we didn't take a beat and talk about Ayrton Senna and this specific car. Football has Pelé, basketball has MJ, F1 has Senna. To many, he's the GOAT. That person that everyone talks about as half man, half mythology. And this specific Marlboro McLaren race car is the Pegasus he drove to glory. Also worth mentioning, he got off some really big fits while doing it. You do not scratch this one up.
But this I'll just make it to the top of the hill. A lot less space than what we've got nowadays.
It's astonishing to me just how little is on the steering wheel.
Radio and boost. Whereas now we have hundreds of buttons, buttons. I think the most dominant car in history of Formula One.
And just 2 buttons on the steering wheel.
And just 2 buttons, that's all you need. So if I could kind of go back in time, there's 2 eras that I would want to drive a Formula One car from. Senna, so 1975 all the way to 1985. Or some of these ones.
98, 99. You were born in 1999,
I was born in 99,
right?
so this is...
It's like your birth vintage.
And then my favourite bunch.
No, come on. The Vodafone livery, iconic.
This is Lewis Fernando.
Yep.
The big rivalry. So this is what got me into Formula One, watching these cars go around. Started actually supporting McLaren just because it looked cool.
That to me is a Hall of Fame livery.
I've asked Zach many times to go back to this.
We'll give him a gentle bullying later.
So that's the boulevard for you.
Unbelievable. Wait, has anyone ever asked you like why your workplace is literally the Death Star? It's like an evil lair.
Looks like it was built yesterday.
I know, I was going to say, it looks like a film set. Actually, the McLaren Boulevard is so much like a Star Wars set that it became one for the Disney Plus series Andor. Check it out, no set dressing necessary.
I remember coming in here for the first time I was like 12 or 13.
Wow.
Quite a scary building to come into when
It's intimidating.
when I was that young. And you have all the corridors downstairs, look like they go on forever.
Like a big, sexy automotive labyrinth to get lost in.
But from the top, so it's like yin and yang. They go together, and then it forms like a piston.
What is this?
This is McLaren Senna, built purely from Lego. 468,000 bricks, and it rolls as well. So there's the actual wheel in it, then the actual wheels on it.
Can I touch it?
You can touch it.
Are they glued?
No.
Really?
No, I'm pretty sure you can. I don't want to break it.
We won't break it.
I'm going to break it if I do that.
Have we got insurance on this sheet? Is he shaking her head?
All of the trophies for everything that they've won, all the way from when McLaren started. But we obviously come to the most important one over here.
Oh, of course.
A couple of mine. Constructors.
Yeah.
This is Zach's. Mine.
Are you loaning it to them?
I'll loan it. What they don't know is that I've swapped it out with a replica, so I've actually got the original.
Fantastic. I'm really glad none of this is on tape.
Then I got this one, Monaco. Last year, the coolest but scariest track in the world.
On a very selfish level, as a spectator, it's by far the most fun to watch.
The amount of just hoping that you make it through the corner.
You know, these
just
are
turn
tiny streets.
Shut your eyes and then just hope you make it through the other side. That's my strategy anyway. This is my Monaco podium car.
And you did it in baby blue, which I respect.
And I did it in baby blue.
The sickest livery possible.
Everything's pretty much exactly as it was when it was raced.
How hard is it to squeeze your body in there? Because I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at that tub.
Headrest comes off, steering wheel comes off, then you just hop in. It's surprisingly comfortable, just because everything's made for me. The grips on the steering wheel, colours of buttons on the steering wheel.
You customised the colours of your buttons on your steering wheel?
So one that I would want to use quite often is overtake.
Overtake button, you push that, you're going to get a bit of extra juice to get around someone?
Pretty much. It's like Senna's car with boost.
A very 2023 take on boost. After checking out all these beasts on the boulevard, Lando took me into the heart of the F1 race team operation to show me where all the wild science happens. Now, this is all super top secret, so fair warning, there's gonna be a lot of blurring.
Everything that's carbon fibre, pretty much, it all gets built in here. Simon, Adam, Simon.
All right. Nice to meet you. Thanks for showing us around.
No worries. Got dirty mats on the floor, so keeps everything clean and tidy.
What's a dirty mat? Oh my.
Sucks all the dirt off your shoes. So in here we make basically anything carbon fibre, so wishbones, suspension, front wings, rear wings.
I kind of in my mind imagined robotic arms flying around and doing everything to an exact specification.
Yeah, so I think mass-produced cars that would be the case because it's so specialised and the shapes are so difficult. You don't really have a choice.
Every week things change, every day things change. You can't just make something specially for one.
It's fair to say like the work the crew are doing in there right now will go a long way to deciding how successful 2023 is going to be for McLaren.
In a way.
Yeah. I mean there'll be a lot of modifications to it throughout the season, but fundamentally that is what we'll be racing.
They do all of that in here, and then it gets put in into these, right?
It's like a pressure cooker, basically. So you vac everything down.
You're kidding?
Suck the air out, and we stick it in there. Cook it under pressure, and that gives you your shape. Yeah.
So in this one, you would have put, what, front wings? Or
little bits.
Little bits.
Got flaps.
Yeah. And then we go downstairs.
Got the mega one.
The mega one.
Jesus Christ. Are you building a space rocket?
You probably could at this one, but I think NASA would have some ones that are much bigger for theirs.
Out of curiosity, like, if for whatever reason someone watching at home would want to buy one of those, like, what would that set you back?
A few million, I would have thought. Let's pause for a second to talk about the money of F1. F1 is extremely expensive. For starters, teams have a budget cap of about $140 million to race 2 cars on the grid. Sounds like a lot, you say? Well, the estimated spend of the top tier teams before the advent of budget caps was around $400 million. And even with the budget caps in place, which some say teams don't really abide by, those numbers can go much higher because certain elements, like the drivers, they don't hit that budget. All right, back to the tour.
Okay, so where are we heading?
Surface and brand technology, it sounds a lot more fancy than...
Yeah, I mean, it used to be the paint shop, but...
This is my favourite place in the whole building. This is stuff no one's seen yet.
Yeah.
Even I haven't seen it until now.
Get in there.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. You want to go?
Yeah.
Go at what?
Bit of vinyling?
You're kidding, let's do it. So any imperfection that I make here...
Yeah.
We'll be on there, affecting aero performance.
I'm going to do my best.
Come on,
right here.
Come on.
There we go.
That's the one. Beautiful.
This footage needs to be destroyed.
This is like my nightmare. He's got to heat it back up. I f***ed it so badly. Why is
Oh
it
no,
doing
he's
that?
done it wrong again.
Which is where we just cut to the perfectly redone one. Yeah, respect to what you do. Could you get that on camera? He's seen worse. Great.
We have to go to the race space now.
Let's do it.
So this is basically the whole race department, but we're going to go down here, looking
Right.
to the race space. That's where they put all the cars together. And we have the main man just here, Jono.
Hi. Adam, nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Jono.
When the composite team's all done with a version of all the 2023 parts, this is where it'll get clicked together and
Yeah, exactly. So this is where the first car goes together, gets signed off, do all the testing, all that kind of stuff. So we convert it from a dyno test into a track car.
What's dyno testing?
So a dyno test is basically, it's a stationary car and you run it as if you would on the track, so it'll do laps before the variable gets in.
Yeah, exactly right.
Before the guy can crash it.
So you guys are dealing with like seriously precious cargo in here.
Yeah, there's a bit of money, a few quid's worth in here.
Unbelievable work, Jono. It's such a pleasure to have met you.
Good to see
Appreciate you.
I bid farewell to Lando, Jono, and the rest of the McLaren F1 team. They're off to prepare for the 2023 season to chase points and podiums and glory. Good luck, crew. But the racing team aren't the only ones working within this spaceship. The other arm of McLaren, the one that creates monsters of speed for general public consumption, if you have a couple of $100,000 to spare, they also operate out of this HQ. And I'm lucky enough to continue my day specking out my very own shiny McLaren in the VVIP lounge.
You've got to get this. It's like the automotive Oscars. I'm Adam. Nice to meet you. Supposed to meet someone named Shane.
Yeah, sure, just right this way.
Oh shit. Holy shit, you really got me. What a baller entrance. Hello. Hey, I'm Adam.
Adam, Shane.
Nice to meet you, mate.
How you doing?
I'm good. It's quite the evil Bond villain lair you've got
Yeah,
here.
this is where we spec some of our most exclusive, special Ultimate Series cars, but today we're going to spec you an Artura. So you got any initial thoughts, any feelings of what you want your car to look like?
I'm tempted to go for something incredibly brash, but I'm kind of feeling like a blacked out, really sexy, really timeless.
Next, wheels.
What's wrong with the dark stealth diamond cut? I'm locking that in right away. Let's go.
It's brake calipers. I think you can match this to some interior colours.
I think I want to keep this thing really discreet. I like the black though. Come on.
Do you want to see this on the VR before?
That would help, you know. Just you never really know until you see it in VR, as the saying goes. Whoa!
Comfortable?
Damn, that's hot. I've got the sickest hand in this VR. I'm in a white void. It's just me and my Artura. The color is stunning. I could stay here for a while, to be honest. That is a gorgeous car. Whoa. What kind of things do high rollers come in here asking for?
I actually was speccing a car with a customer not so long ago, and quite unusually we were talking about carbon fibre, and they said, I don't want any carbon fibre. I'm sick of carbon fibre. I see it every day in my jet and on my boat. I just don't want to see it.
This person's maxed out on carbon
Yeah, there's
fibre.
enough carbon fibre. So they actually wanted a really subtle spec. You can't predict it. It's whatever the customer wants, and ultimately it's their car, and you know we can do that for them.
Ron Dennis said that he wanted McLaren to feel 90% NASA, 10% Disneyland, where you get this excellence and this specificity and a little bit of magic. And I feel like in this Bond villain lair, which I love, you're kind of getting that magic, right?
The attention to detail, that 90%, is very evident throughout the building, and then you get in the cars and you feel the magic that
Right.
comes through from that.
You guys have one of the greatest race teams on planet Earth in Formula One. How does all that feed into McLaren Automotive? How does it make its way into what you guys do here?
If you're into F1, you're into racing, it's a natural progression to be into cars, and you know the two of us, we go hand in hand. It's a great thing to have.
Now that I've dropped an ungodly amount of fake money on a beautiful Artura, what's next?
Well, I think we should go and see Artura's being made. Do you want to go have a look?
Yes.
So Adam, before we go and have a look at MPC,
Yeah.
here is what's called a monocell 2. This is essentially what's colloquially known as a tub. A tub is at the heart of every single McLaren we make.
Oh, that is extremely light. I am not strong.
The nature of our cars, they're very, very bespoke. Everyone's very individual to the customer and how they wanted to spec it. Capacity is up to 20 cars a day.
Oh, like being created from scratch.
Yeah.
And they've got these screens up here saying like cycle 5, time 43.
So that's essentially the information on how many cars we've built that day, keeping the guys working to time. So each station targets 45 minutes before it moves on to the next one.
Wow, it's down to the minute like
Yes,
that.
yeah, of course. We'll then move on to the monsoon test, or also known as Great British Weather Test.
What's a monsoon test? That's incredible.
We're essentially checking the cars are completely sealed and watertight.
Should we head down?
Absolutely, yeah.
What's up with the floor?
Floor,
It's
obviously.
like the most reflective floor I've ever seen. It's a gorgeous floor.
Thank you. No one's ever complimented our floor before.
Happy to be the first. Can we stop here for a second?
Yes.
Give me half a beat on the elbow.
The lightest car we've ever made. We kind of call this an A to A car. You know, you just want to take this car out for a drive. It's an incredibly engaging car, obviously. It's as close as you can get to the driving elements. No roof. You hear all the sound. Twin turbocharged V8, well over 800 horsepower. It's an absolute riot. Dynamic testing, but this is where we test every single car, checking the powertrain, checking it's producing the power it should. This is kind of assessing all the straight line and stopping performance before the cars will head out for a proper shakedown.
He's in like a deep meditative focus right now.
We are going to have a look around the paint shop. There's actually 38 individual stations that every car goes through. A huge part of MPC is actually paint. You know, it's a very, very delicate process. Everything's got to be absolutely pristine, perfect. You can see we're baking a car in here. We explode the car kind of on this jig that you see here, so you can get everywhere you need to do when you're spraying and painting the car. But yeah, final finishing. This is polishing. Looks really messy at the moment, but it's all part of the process, and the cars will come out looking absolutely perfect.
I would smash a pair of those overalls. They look so cool. Please.
End of the production line. We've got an
Finished
Artura.
Artura.
Yes, and we've got a badge for you to put on this Artura. Finished it off, final step in the process.
I'm going to badge this thing.
We're going to badge it, and then it's going to be shipped off to a customer.
It's my first badging. Here I go. Badged.
I think you nailed it.
It's a piece of art. How many people have touched this car? Do you have an idea?
Several hundred, you know, of our finest.
Don't forget my contributions, please, Shane.
Know how much you enjoyed this part, in particular the overalls.
I mean, the overalls is no way.
So we got you a gift.
Shane, I'll never forget.
We're finally going to go and get to head out in an Artura.
Please. She's like, I can really feel the lunch I just ate. Trying to squeeze in.
Start the car. It's going to start on electric. Put your foot firmly on the brake. Hit the big red button.
That is a satisfying red button. It does not feel like it's on. Okay, so this is our EV mode.
Yeah.
Shane, I have to tell you one thing. At GQ Sports, we're not really doing the spec thing. You know, if someone's really keen for the specs, they can like go to the website, right? We can put it on the screen, I'm sure.
Facts, yeah.
The nerdy facts, they're like here.
We're going to do a little loop we call the Chobham Triangle.
The what triangle?
The Chobham Triangle. Chobham's a little sleepy village just outside of Woking. It's a notoriously bumpy road.
Why are you taking me to a notoriously bumpy road in a
To give you the
supercar?
proper British experience.
As far as supercars go, this is a pretty stealth mode.
Being in EV mode's great.
Like, you're not a full-blown arsehole the second you're hitting the road here.
Yeah, for sure.
Whoa. I'm assuming that was me.
Well, the engine's just now started contributing and you're in auto mode. Now would be a good time to try the throttle pedal.
I mean, that's very satisfying.
Just and the way it builds speed is amazing.
Like, instantaneous.
Yeah.
I've got to admit, it is surreal driving a car like this in a town like this. Can't
say.
exactly blend in. I mean, man, when that kicks in, holy shit. It's almost a sin to put on the radio when it's that good. Do you feel safe with me, Shane?
You know what, I do, and I'm a very nervous passenger. You know, I feel like I could have a nap, and I feel like that's a compliment to
That's
you.
a lot of trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Please don't have a nap, though. I have no fucking idea where we are. I mustn't be tempted to try and look cool while doing this. I will cook it. I don't really want to get out.
Do you want to go again?
If I go again, we're never going to stop. I'm really glad to report that Shane promised me I could just keep this one as a special treat. That was wild. Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Pleasure.
If you ever need someone to calmly drive you around country roads again, I'm your
Oh,
guy.
a chauffeur, that'd be
Yeah,
perfect.
I got you.
That'd be perfect.
And so ends our day in one of the most surreal, exacting, and larger-than-life dream factories you'll ever see. We saw rare cars, legendary cars, Lego reconstructions of legendary cars, parts of cars we couldn't even show you, and the kind of cars that make you want to drive a hell of a lot more. But all along the way, with this ginormous spaceship of a building as our backdrop, I couldn't help but think that there's a certain kind of magic that only comes at that perfect intersection of art and science.